Hey guys, in this video we're going to be having former presidential candidate in 2016 and 2020, Bernie Sanders, the senator from Vermont, versus Senator Ted Cruz, who ran for president in 2016. Now, Ted Cruz and Bernie Sanders did do a debate with each other once. I forgot which year it was, but it was around 2017, I would say. They did a debate with each other. Could even be 2018, but they showed what it would be like if it was a potential matchup between them. And, it was a pretty even debate throughout most of it. It was kind of very interesting to watch, and it was a very heated debate. But you really could see that both of them would have pretty good debate skills against each other. I think Ted Cruz did a pretty decent job in the debate. Bernie didn't absolutely crush him like I was expecting originally. So Ted Cruz could certainly put up a fight in debate. That's one benefit Ted Cruz has. He's a bit charismatic. But let's head right into this election. So the first state I'm going to categorize is Texas. Ted Cruz could even win this state by a solid margin. It's possible, but I'm going to say it's under 10. Probably a 7 to 8 point victory for Ted Cruz in his home state. Home state advantage is a real thing in elections, I would say. Let's head to New England just because of that. New Hampshire would probably be a likely state, same with Maine. However, Maine second would probably end up voting for Ted Cruz by a lean margin. Bernie would have a real chance at flipping that district, just because I think he's pretty popular in the New England area. Let's do Iowa. Iowa, I just think it'll be solid red for Ted Cruz. I don't think a far left person, Bernie Sanders, could win this state unless he heavily leans into populism, but Ted Cruz also leans into a lot of populism as well, which is why I think it would probably side with Ted Cruz still. Ohio, I could see it being a bit more competitive, but I still think Ted Cruz wins by an 8% margin here. In Virginia and New Hampshire, I see them as likely margins. I think Virginia will be a 7 to 8 point victory, while New Mexico would be an 8 to 9 point victory for Bernie Sanders. I think Ted Cruz would do decent with Latinos in a few of these states, just because Latinos are kind of shifting more and more with Republicans. The states of Florida and North Carolina, I also think Ted Cruz would probably win each of these states by, well, actually, North Carolina, I would move it to lean, probably a 4 point victory for Ted Cruz, while Florida, 6 point victory, I would argue. Around there, I don't think Florida likes Bernie Sanders that much, and I think he would always perform pretty badly here. In Georgia and Arizona also, I think they would pretty much side with Ted Cruz here, just because he isn't Trump. You just got to avoid fully accepting endorsements from Trump, so he wouldn't lose these states very much. But he's running against a far left candidate, so I really don't think he has to worry that much about losing these states. 2 point victories in both of them, I would say. In the state of Nevada, I think Bernie would probably pull off a victory here against Ted Cruz. Be a very, very narrow one, probably around a 1.5 to 2% victory. But I do think Nevada Democrats, or just Nevada voters in general, probably like Bernie more than Trump, just because how much Bernie crushed Biden in the 2020 primary here in Nevada. Now, the last 4 states, Nebraska second. Nebraska second, I think, would be a very, very narrow victory for Ted Cruz, just because Bernie's pretty substantially on the left, plus Ted Cruz just isn't Trump, so he doesn't have that unfavorability that Trump has in Nebraska second. However, these last 4 states are a bit hard to categorize. I think Bernie would probably perform decent in Minnesota, win by around 4%. Michigan as well, he'd probably win by around 2%. But these last few states are the toughest to figure out. I think with Pennsylvania, Bernie is a more liberal candidate, so he would definitely get the turnout in the urban areas pretty substantially high. So that's why I would probably narrowly give Pennsylvania in favor of Bernie Sanders. However, the state of Wisconsin, I'm going back and forth on this. Bernie could win it or Ted Cruz could win it, but it's very hard to tell who would win Wisconsin. You have to look back at the primaries here in 2016. Ted Cruz did pretty well in Wisconsin. So did Bernie Sanders as well. But Ted Cruz, I think, would have a decent amount of connection with populist voters, and I think he would do pretty well with rural voters as well. And there's not a lot of urban centers in Wisconsin that Bernie could really rely on in a general election. I mean, there's Milwaukee, but that relies on very high African American turnout, which is why I think I would have to give Ted Cruz a very narrow victory in the state of Wisconsin. Not because it's the most conservative state in the Rust Belt, just because I think there's a lot more rural areas in Wisconsin, and rural areas make up a larger percentage here than in Pennsylvania, and I just think Bernie wouldn't perform as well in the urban centers in Wisconsin, considering he never really did well with African American voters. So the one district in Milwaukee, the city in Milwaukee, I don't think Bernie would win that by a pretty big margin. You wouldn't get a lot of turnout there. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's my election prediction was Bernie versus Ted Cruz. Let me know what you think of this in the comments below. Like, comment, and subscribe.